door up.
Don't tell me what
Shut my door.
do. I run this
Bitch,
show.
you better get out my face. My children are in the car.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Southern Draw Law. My name is James White, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, former police officer. Our video today comes to us from the Facebook user Morgan Branch, and it depicts an interaction she had with 3 members of the Kentucky State Police just in the last couple days. She posted the video publicly for everyone to share and comment on. So there are 2 short videos that she posted, one that was her primary post, and then there was another one that was posted in the comments, and then several photos, and I'm going to include them here as I go through the situation and explain what happened. To give you some context, Morgan says that she had an interaction with these 3 troopers on the side of the road after Trooper Kristen Mitchell from the Kentucky State Police pulled her over and immediately became aggressive upon approaching her vehicle. She says Mitchell refused to explain why she pulled her over, and when given pushback, she jerked Morgan's door open, ripping wires out of her door and causing vehicle damage, pictured here. Now let's watch the initial interaction that Morgan posted and we'll come back and talk about it.
Morgan Branch. I got my children in the car. You better back the
You better back.
Shut my door up.
Don't tell me what
Shut my door.
do. I run this
Bitch,
show.
you better get out my face. My children are in the car.
Get out of the car.
I can't. This is a standard with no e-brake.
Well,
I ain't doing anything wrong. What the
Get
is
out of
this?
the car.
You will not take my phone. This is a normal traffic violation, and you are in denial of rights under the color of law.
Put your finger in my
I am buckled. I am no threat to you. You will back the up. Get your superintendent now. This is denial of rights under the color of law. My vehicle will drive off.
You're going to get out
Put
of
the
the car.
emergency brake on.
Ma'am, you will get your lieutenant right now. The emergency brake don't work.
screaming.
I said that 5 times.
Look at me.
Get your lieutenant now.
We don't have a lieutenant out.
My kids are in this car. There's no e-brake on it.
Quit acting like an idiot with them.
I'm not, and I am recording this entire interaction.
We are too.
I went and got my children f***ing McDonald's.
Okay.
Okay.
Why are you screaming at us?
She's screaming at me. She came up nasty as hell.
Okay. I said, did you not see the lights? Is what I said.
And I pulled
And
into
I have a body
here.
camera. You went
Good
in
for
here
you.
pretty recklessly with children in the car. You went
I am
in
not
pretty
reckless as
recklessly.
hell. No,
It was pretty
ma'am.
recklessly.
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
it
And
was.
this is
Yes,
a normal
ma'am, it
traffic
was.
stop. You are a snotty girl.
Are you,
This is a normal traffic
you have
stop.
driver's license?
You are all. Yes.
Are you out of Ohio?
Yes.
Have you
Yes.
provided your driver's license?
I provided my
Did you
social.
write her?
Absolutely. I have
Somebody?
registration. This
Okay.
is a normal traffic stop, and you are in violation, denial of rights under the color of law, in which I will prosecute in your agency.
Okay, I'll
Yes,
see you
ma'am,
in
I
court.
will. Don't think my family ain't lawyers.
Stop cussing, please.
No, ma'am. No,
I'm
sir.
not a man.
I am not. You all are out of control. Absolutely out of control. This is a normal traffic stop. Please get my stuff. Write me my ticket for my false
Will you
insurance.
shut up? Tell me what to quit doing, all right? Because I'm getting pissed off. You don't want me to get pissed
My
off, all right? So
children
I
are-
need your
my
name and I need
children
your
are
date of
fine.
birth and I need it right now.
Morgan Branch, 11/9/1999.
What's your
Please
middle
shut my
initial?
door. Paige. Shut my door.
Have
You
you
have
been
woken
drinking
up
or
my
smoking or
children.
anything like that,
No.
What's your date of birth again, ma'am?
11/9/1999.
Now, depending on the state, the officer may or may not be required to tell a driver why they're being stopped. In Kentucky, you obviously have to have a reason to stop someone, but there's no law, as far as I know, requiring officers to explain the reason for the stop. Does it do a lot to further good community relations and keep traffic stops from escalating? Well, of course it does. But what if you're an egomaniac with short girl syndrome and there's absolutely no way you can take out your tiny bit of hell in the world if you start the traffic stop politely and according to good communication strategies? Well, if that's your situation, you do what young Trooper Mitchell did here. Then when it's clear you can't handle yourself, you get your male bully friends to come over and issue a little Appalachian justice on your behalf. The third trooper here is even more unhinged than Trooper Mitchell, and I don't know what his name is, but I'm sure someone's going to when they see this video. He goes from cold to hot to cold like someone snorting less than a therapeutic hit of lithium to try and cure acutely onset bipolar disorder. He starts with a maniacal laugh, followed by a no doubt monster energy infused fractional moment of uncontrolled roid rage, and then calms all the way down once he gets the hit he needs of that oh so sweet identification they all seem to be addicted to. Now, of course, Trooper Mitchell tries to drag this person out of the car, and I'm sure she'll probably say, you know, officer safety or whatever, but the truth is, well, I can't beat you up if you're still in the car. And it's always baffling to me about how circular the officer safety theory is in nature. I mean, think about it for a second. Let me escalate something unnecessarily and then let me overreact because I'm concerned about my safety that I just put in jeopardy because I escalated something unnecessarily and then overreacted. And then let's do all that over again. But anyway, let's watch the second clip.
She said, can I I need your license. I went to reach in to grab my registration, my license right here. What are you reaching for? Shit, girl, you told me my license.
I was right here for the whole thing.
I was not reaching fast. She asked for my license, so I went right here in my glove box and got my license and registration. Well, my license ain't on me, but
yeah, we don't want to scream. We don't want to cause a scene.
Oh, they're gonna be. I don't want my children to trust. No.
Yeah.
You'll teach them to be a sovereign citizen because you know the color of the law.
Absolutely.
You do.
Absolutely.
And you don't know jack shit about nothing.
I know plenty.
You wouldn't know shit from Shinola.
I know a bunch.
Trooper Mitchell will be up with you shortly, okay? I expect to be not hear any screaming.
Who the hell's Mitchell? Is that the blonde
That's the female trooper.
Mm.
Okay?
Can you please, I request one of you to hand me my ticket?
Sure, I'll hand it to you.
Okay, I'll take you. Thank you. I do not want any more interactions with that woman.
I don't think any of us want another interaction with you, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm doing pretty good, cooperating well with you. You're calm, we're communicating pretty effectively.
Yeah, there's no need for screaming. I hate screaming, I hate hollering. There's no need for that.
We're communicating.
It's childish, to be honest with you.
I don't know what the hell her problem was.
I'm not talking about her.
Well, I know you ain't talking about me.
I am.
Well, you got opinions are assholes and everybody's got one.
Yep. Some have bigger assholes than others, too.
Mm-hmm.
Some have whole asses.
Yeah. How many cars you got on me right now? 5?
Stop cussing.
It's freedom of speech. I can just cuss freely. I'm not menacing or cussing at you.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
I don't like cussing.
I'm sorry. You're offended. You're a police officer. I hope you'd have much greater shoulders on than that. For me cussing freely.
Yeah.
Why did you think I was West Virginia?
I thought that's where you was from.
No.
So you'll notice here that Captain Virtue thinks it's cool to tell Morgan that she don't know shit about anything and wouldn't know shit from Shinola, but decides that certain words are cussing when she says them. So he thinks he gets to decide which words are acceptable and which words are not. And then, of course, he does that moronic thing that a lot of cops seem to do, which is to lump every single person into one of 3 categories. First category is cops. Second category are people who support cops and comply with every command without question. And the third category covers everyone who disagrees at any point with any officer anywhere or asserts any rights whatsoever. And that third category is called sovereign citizens. So I really can't say whether there are any constitutional violations 100% here, as I don't have much context. It appears that she was stopped, I guess, because of suspicion that she took an alternative route around a checkpoint, but she says she was just trying to take her kids to McDonald's, so we don't know where she started, where she ended up, whether it actually circumvented a checkpoint or whatever. I mean, pulling out of a driveway that's nowhere close to the checkpoint and turning the opposite direction to go to McDonald's is not illegal. You can also kind of glean from Morgan's questions to the troopers about them insinuating she was from West Virginia that maybe they were potentially targeting West Virginia or out-of-state drivers. So I would say more than likely the whole stop was a violation of the Fourth Amendment, but without more, can't really say for sure. But remember that traffic stops are basically Terry stops or investigatory detentions, which means they require reasonable articulable suspicion that a crime has occurred or probable cause that a traffic infraction has occurred. And remember further that the holding in Pennsylvania versus Mims only requires drivers to exit the vehicle pursuant to officer safety when they've been lawfully stopped. So my guess is that Trooper Mitchell stopped this vehicle because she thought Morgan was trying to avoid the checkpoint. And at the end of this deal, Morgan gets issued a citation including 4 charges, and Trooper Mitchell, it appears, knowingly falsified the citation. She issued a citation and wrote that Morgan had a plate that expired in 2023, and it's clear from this picture that Morgan posted in the comments section that the plate clearly says 2024. The citation also indicates that the plate wasn't illuminated, and we see a light in this picture, but it's unclear whether it was functioning properly. But that really doesn't matter. matter, and here's why. The biggest problem Trooper Mitchell has is that she just tried to snatch a lady out of the vehicle for allegedly violating a bunch of laws that probably don't apply to her. See, Morgan's vehicle is registered in Ohio, so all of the violations listed on the citation are Kentucky Revised Statutes 186.170, which are all registration laws that apply to vehicles registered in Kentucky. So it appears that she likely unlawfully detained her and issued citations for a bunch of registration codes that only apply to Kentucky residents in violation of, you know, everything. And back to my comment on MIMS and a lawful traffic violation, I have to believe that the way this stop went, if Morgan had committed some moving violation that could have been cited, it would have been on the citation. It's not like Trooper Mitchell was cutting her a break here. As it relates to them sort of targeting other states' drivers, one thing you should know is that Louisa, Kentucky is directly across the Tug River from Fort Gay, West Virginia. So Fort Gay, West Virginia is between Huntington, West Virginia, which is a city in the tri-state area near Ashland, Kentucky and the South Point, Ohio border, and Mingo County, West Virginia over on this side. Mingo County is where the Hatfields from the Hatfields and McCoys are from, and the McCoys were the Kentucky family across the Tug River. So over here you got Hatfield McCoy territory in Mingo County, and over here you got the tri-state area of Ashland, Kentucky, and Huntington, West Virginia, and South Point, Ohio. And then in the middle, you have Fort Gay on the West Virginia side of the Tug, and then you have Louisa, Kentucky, where this happened. My wife's actually from a neighboring county in eastern Kentucky, and there's some really, really good quality people there. However, there's basically no economy and no jobs. The community was pretty much wholly relying on the coal industry, and it died pretty much when the coal industry died, and it's been ravaged by Big Pharma's war on poor addicts ever since. So everything I can tell about this looks like an unlawful stop, and it certainly is an unprofessional stop, and I don't have to comment on the way that Trooper Mitchell conducted herself. I mean, that's fairly obvious. My closing argument in this case is an injunction to the leadership of the Kentucky State Police to do something of substance to change their agency. In the past several years, I've seen multiple incidents of channels like mine and channels like the Civil Rights Lawyers and the DUI guy and We the People University, all of these sort of police accountability channels documenting instances of Kentucky troopers violating rights, going into people's homes, beating them up, and everything else. Now, I spent about 30 minutes scrolling the KSP Facebook page, and I was basically immediately under the impression that they're a shallow agency that likes to pander. Here's a good example of what I mean. You'll notice that every recruiting poster features a minority, either a woman, a black man, or a Hispanic man. And this will come as no surprise, but you know what accounts for almost all instances of black people being featured on the KSP page? Basically, there are three categories. There's wanted posters, recruiting posters, or pandering during Black History Month. They also do the same thing to women during International Women's Day or whatever else they want credit for celebrating. That's disgusting. My law school used to do that stupid shit, and it drove me crazy. I always thought it was so insulting to try to prove to the diverse people that you're virtuous. They'd order soul food from a local black-owned deli on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, but not patronize the business at all any other time of the year. The food was incredible and the people were wonderful, and I used to go to that place all the time on my own time. But you know what might make people just feel value in general? Either doing one of two things, treating them like everyone else and making no distinction about their race, or maybe patronizing their business at times other than Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, or when you might get some credit for being virtuous over it. And you know what might make black troopers feel valued? Maybe feature them in ways that has nothing to do with their race. How about maybe just letting them be troopers instead of black troopers? Maybe featuring their work sometime throughout the year besides Black History Month, and maybe don't always just use their likeness for recruiting minority applicants. But what do I know? I was able to find out that Kristen Mitchell graduated in the November of 2022 102nd Cadet class at the Kentucky State Police Academy, which means that she was recently trained. And that means that this is how y'all teach troopers to conduct themselves, because she ain't forgot everything she learned in the academy in the last 18 months. If you watched any of my other videos, you might remember one back in March where West Virginia Trooper Rick Wiseman went into someone's home without a warrant and physically attacked him. You might have seen my video from last week of Trooper Logan of the Virginia State Police acting like a clown and escalating an encounter unnecessarily over a simple traffic stop, and now you have this. All of these instances have a couple things in common. Number one, they're in southern rural states, and number two, they feature state police and not highway patrol. Now, you may not know why that matters, and you may not realize it, but state police are different than states with highway patrol. The states aren't different, but the agencies are. States like Tennessee, where they have highway patrol, are primarily focused on highway and traffic safety, just like the name implies. They don't generally run calls or perform patrol duties. States with state police agencies do both, and in rural areas, like the areas previously mentioned, they run calls often by themselves or with one other officer and maybe 20 minutes up a holler waiting for backup if the shit goes south. That phenomenon is used to train these people to think like they're the state's last great hope. They have enormous egos, and this is the way they police. It's time for change, and this is my way of helping bring it about. The trooper who was doing most of the calm communication, though he was virtue signaling, needs to be trained up about free speech and not pushing his values on members of the public that he's supposed to be serving. Trooper Mitchell needs to be fired immediately and go do something else because she's clearly not cut out for law enforcement. And Captain Psycho Pants needs to be fired as well, because if that's how he acts when everyone is recording, I can promise you he's got a bunch of use of force bodies that no one knows about. Guaranteed. And I don't mean he's actually killed people, but what I do mean is that it's very likely when the cameras are off, there's a bunch of people he's laid hands on that nobody knows about and nobody's complained about yet. A person who conducts themselves like that on camera when there are 3 cameras rolling or more is a more violent person off camera, plain and simple.
Because I'm getting pissed off, and you don't want me to get pissed off, all right?
That's all for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this arrest. Check out the other videos on my page and leave a comment on them as well. Until I see you again, take care. Always film your interactions with the police and keep your evidence to yourself.